Have you ever wondered when your body truly has enough vitamin D3, K2, or magnesium? We take them every day, believing that's the way to stay healthy. But what if I told you that those very vitamins might sometimes be the reason you feel even more tired? Would you believe me? It sounds strange, but after the age of 60, our bodies no longer process vitamins the same way they did when we were young. These days, most older adults in the U.S. take at least three types of supplements: vitamin D, 3 for bone strength, magnesium for better sleep, and K2 to prevent arterial calcification. Each one is advertised as safe, natural, and essential. But few people realize that when taken the wrong way, or for too long, these so-called nutrients can become a burden on the liver, kidneys, heart, and even the nervous system. I've met many patients who come into my clinic with the same story. They hold out bottles of D3, K2, and magnesium and say, "Doctor, I just want to feel better, just a little less tired." Yet when we check their blood work, their vitamin levels are 2 or even 3 times higher than normal. Could it be that what we think is helping us might actually be silently causing harm? How can we know when to keep going and when to stop? And what are the 6 warning signs your body sends every single day? In today's video, I'll share real stories of people who took these supplements for years and what happened just 1 week after they stopped. You'll see that taking more isn't always better. Sometimes listening to your body is the best medicine of all. You remember, don't you? At the end of the previous part, I said that taking more isn't always better. What truly matters is knowing when you've had enough. I said that not just from a medical standpoint, but because I've witnessed so many cases. People who started with the simple intention of taking care of themselves, yet unknowingly pushed their bodies into overload. One of my patients, Helen, 67, from California, began taking vitamin D3 when the pandemic started, 1 small pill a day, afraid of not getting enough sunlight. At first, she really did feel better. Her bones ached less, and her mood improved. But after 2 years, she began feeling unusually tired, had trouble sleeping, her heart raced, and she was constantly thirsty. She thought it was just aging. But when we tested her blood, her vitamin D levels were twice the safe limit, not because she did anything wrong, but because she didn't know her body needed a break. You see, the human body has its own memory and rhythm. It's like a loyal friend. Treat it gently, and it will serve you faithfully for a lifetime. But when you keep forcing it to take the same thing day after day, year after year, it adapts and slowly loses its natural ability to regulate itself. Imagine this. Your body is like a garden. If you water it at the right time, the plants stay lush and green. But if you pour too much water every single day, the roots rot, the soil suffocates, and the garden dies from within. Vitamins work the same way. D3, K2, and magnesium. Even though they're good, when taken continuously without rest, they disrupt your body's natural regulation systems, from hormones and enzymes to liver and kidney function. There's a concept in medicine that few people know: supplement cycling. Simply put, it's about giving your body a vacation, time to recover. Just like you work and then rest, or exercise and then rest, your body needs time to process, absorb, and restore its natural sensitivity. When you take the same supplement for months without a break, the receptors in your cells become desensitized. They stop responding as effectively. You take the same dose but feel less benefit, so you increase it, not realizing that this very act is making your body lose its own voice. A Harvard study once said, "It's not what we add that keeps us healthy, but our ability to restore balance. That's what truly determines longevity." I believe that applies to everything: medicine, vitamins, even human emotions. When we pause and listen, the body tells us exactly what it needs. I once spoke with a 72-year-old man who told me, "Doctor, I don't even feel sick, but I can't go a day without all these pills. If I forget one, I feel uneasy, like I can't be healthy anymore." And I said to him, "Maybe what you need isn't another pill, but faith. Faith that your body still knows how to heal itself. So don't be afraid to stop. Sometimes a pause is the strongest medicine. It gives your body the chance to reset its rhythm, to regain its natural balance, something no supplement can ever replace." In the next part, I'll show you which vitamins you should take breaks from, which ones you can safely continue, and the warning signs your body gives when it's had too much. That's when you'll truly understand when to keep going and when to let your body breathe. When it comes to vitamins, most people fear deficiency, but few fear excess. Yet, in the world of health, having too much can sometimes be far more dangerous than having too little. When the body lacks something, it knows how to call for help. But when there's an excess, it silently wears down your cells, your blood vessels, and by the time you notice, the damage has often gone much further than you think. So, let's begin with vitamin K2, a tiny nutrient, but one of great importance. I often tell my patients, K2 is like the traffic officer of your body. It ensures calcium goes where it belongs, into your bones and teeth, rather than drifting off and sticking to your arteries or kidneys. Without K2, calcium is like a convoy of cars with no traffic lights, speeding in every direction, causing chaos. Here's something fascinating. People in Japan who regularly eat natto, a fermented soybean dish rich in K2, tend to have stronger bones and cleaner arteries than Westerners of the same age. That's not magic. It's simply the natural harmony between food and biology. Remember this: K2 is gentle. Unlike D3, it doesn't accumulate in the body for long. Medical studies show that doses between 90 and 200 micrograms a day are completely safe for long-term use, since any excess is naturally excreted through the liver and bile. So, you don't need to cycle K2. If you eat few green vegetables, rarely consume fermented foods, or take vitamin D3, then supplementing with K2 daily not only balances calcium, but also protects your heart over time. However, if you take blood thinners such as warfarin or Coumadin, remember that K2 can affect how these medications work. In that case, you don't need to stop. Just monitor your INR levels regularly with your doctor. Now, let's talk about magnesium, often called the hidden electricity of the body. Without magnesium, your heart can't beat properly, your muscles can't contract smoothly, and your mind can't find the peace it needs for deep sleep. One of my patients, Daniel, 70 years old, once told me, "Doctor, after a few weeks of taking magnesium, it felt like a miracle. I slept deeply, no more leg cramps, and I woke up feeling light." But then, he skipped a few days while traveling, and by the third night, the cramps returned, and the sleeplessness came back. Just 3 days after stopping magnesium, he said, "I couldn't sleep, and it felt like someone had turned off the power switch inside me." His story convinced me even more that magnesium should not be interrupted. Why? Because magnesium is water-soluble. Every day your body loses it through urine, sweat, and even breathing. That means the body can't store it the way it stores fat-soluble vitamins like D3 or A. Stop taking it for just a few days, and your magnesium levels drop quickly. The result? Restless sleep, muscle cramps, a racing heart, or that uneasy tension you can't quite explain. Think of your body like a smartphone. Magnesium is the quiet current that recharges it every day. Without power, your phone still works, but the battery drains quickly until it shuts down. And unlike a phone, the human body has no backup charger except what you give it through food and rest. Studies from Harvard University and the journal Magnesium Research have shown that forms like magnesium glycinate, citrate, and malate are well absorbed and gentle for older adults. In contrast, cheaper oxide forms often cause diarrhea or stomach upset. If your kidneys are healthy, taking magnesium daily is both safe and necessary, because more than 50% of people over 50 in the U.S. are deficient without even realizing it. I always remind my patients, magnesium isn't just for the body, it's for the mind. When you're low on magnesium, your thoughts race, anxiety rises for no reason, and your memory dulls. And sometimes, simply restoring magnesium brings a surprising calm. You sleep better, your heartbeat steadies, your mind clears. So, if K2 is the guide that directs calcium where it belongs, then magnesium is the energy that keeps the whole system running. One sets the direction, the other sustains the rhythm. And together, when understood and used correctly, they become two faithful companions walking with you through the journey of aging. In the next part, we'll talk about vitamin D3, the most essential yet most overused supplement today, and the silent cause behind many symptoms you may have mistaken for aging. You'll see that sometimes your body doesn't need more. It just needs you to stop at the right time. Among the three most common supplements today, vitamin D3 is perhaps the most dangerous, double-edged sword. It can be a lifesaver for your bones, heart, and immune system, but it can also turn into a silent troublemaker if you don't know when to stop. I've met countless people who have taken D3 every single day for years without ever checking their levels. They believe that more is better because they've heard that older adults often lack sunlight, and that less sun means less D3. But the human body doesn't work like that. Vitamin D3 isn't just a vitamin. It's a hormone that regulates over 2,000 genes in your body, affecting everything from heart function and immunity to mood. That means it's incredibly powerful, and unlike water-soluble vitamins, your body doesn't eliminate it quickly. D3 is fat-soluble. It builds up in your liver and fat tissues and can linger there for months. Picture this. Your body is like a room filled with light. Light helps you see and feel warm. But if you leave the lights on all day and night, eventually the bulbs burn out and the room becomes dry and uncomfortable. Vitamin D3 works the same way. A little light gives life. Too much, and it brings fatigue you can't quite explain. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that when you take D3 daily over a long period, your blood levels remain elevated for weeks, even months, after stopping. Your body doesn't forget D3, it just can't get rid of it quickly. And if you keep adding more, those levels slowly climb above the safe threshold, causing subtle but dangerous changes. High calcium levels in the blood, fatigue, constipation, irregular heart rhythms, and sometimes even depression. Have you ever felt more tired even though you've been taking all your vitamins faithfully? I once had a 74-year-old patient named Robert. He'd been taking D3 for years to strengthen his bones, but the more he took, the weaker and more fatigued he felt. When we tested him, his D3 levels were nearly double the safe range. I told him to take a break for a few weeks, get morning sunlight, eat natural foods. Less than a month later, he told me, "Doctor, I can't believe that just by stopping for a while, my body feels light again, like someone switched my old light back on." That's why the first principle I want you to remember is this: you don't need D3 every single day. If you live in a sunny place and spend some time outdoors each morning, your body already produces a good amount naturally. Let sunlight do the work for you. Don't believe that a tiny pill is your only source of health. If you're taking 2,000 to 5,000 IU daily, get a blood test every 3 to 4 months. When your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level goes above 50 nanograms per milliliter, take a 2 to 4 week break. Let your body release the reserves and return to its natural rhythm. You can also take it every other day. Many studies show this still maintains stable D3 levels without the risk of buildup. Most importantly, pay attention to yourself. If you feel more tired even while taking your vitamins, if you can't sleep, feel constipated, or notice heart palpitations, it may not be aging. It may be your body whispering, "I've had enough." I know many older adults are afraid to stop supplements. They worry that if they do, they'll become weak or deficient. But I always tell my patients, health doesn't come from how many pills you take, but from knowing when to stop and letting your body do the rest. In medicine, we call this process homeostasis, the state of natural balance. Your body is an intelligent system. It doesn't need constant interference, only space to breathe. And sometimes that pause is when your body heals the deepest. So, if you're taking D3 every day, ask yourself, am I helping my body or am I trying to control it? In the next part, I'll share 6 clear signs that your body may already be overloaded with D3 or magnesium, and why so many people who think they're getting healthier may actually be going the opposite way. That part is crucial because sometimes a single shift in awareness can change the entire course of your health. When the body becomes overloaded, it rarely screams for help. It doesn't shout, "I have too much vitamin D3," or "I'm overloaded with magnesium." Instead, it whispers softly through small changes we often ignore, until one day we realize we just don't feel as healthy as we used to. I want you to listen carefully to those 6 whispers, subtle yet vital messages your body is trying to send you. The first sign is nausea, loss of appetite, or any indigestion. Many people think it's just age-related digestive weakness, but in reality, this happens when calcium levels in the blood rise due to excess vitamin D3. Your liver and kidneys are working overtime to process the stored D3, leaving you bloated, fatigued, or even nauseated after meals. I've seen many such patients, not sick, just taking D3 for too long without a break. The second sign is unusual thirst and frequent urination. When calcium levels rise, the kidneys must work double time to flush out the excess. Your body responds by making you feel very thirsty, even when you're drinking water constantly. Then you find yourself waking up multiple times at night to use the bathroom. Most people assume it's just getting older, but it's really the kidney's SOS signal struggling to maintain balance. The third sign is fatigue, muscle weakness, or mild confusion. This is when excess D3 begins affecting your nervous system. You feel heavy, unmotivated, or forgetful. A study from the U.S. National Institutes of Health found that when vitamin D3 levels exceed the optimal range, the body enters a too bright state, and just like an overexposed light, it blinds the nervous system's natural balance. The fourth sign is irregular heartbeat or rising blood pressure. When too much D3 pushes calcium into the bloodstream, it disrupts the electrical rhythm of the heart. You might feel your heart racing or slowing down unexpectedly. I once treated a 68-year-old man whose heart rate dropped to 50 beats per minute, even though he had no prior issues. Once we stopped his D3 and magnesium supplements for a few weeks, his rhythm returned to normal. The body knows how to heal. It just needs time to rest. The fifth sign is muscle weakness, tingling in the hands or feet, or slowed reflexes. This is a hallmark of magnesium excess. Still rare, but becoming more common. When magnesium levels get too high, your muscles grow heavy, your movement sluggish, and you lose fine coordination. In people with kidney issues, excess magnesium isn't cleared properly, causing fatigue, shallow breathing, yawning, or delayed reflexes. If you've noticed yourself walking slower or dropping things more often without a clear reason, pay attention. The sixth sign, though uncommon, can be serious. Low blood pressure, dizziness, shortness of breath, or irregular heartbeat. When magnesium levels exceed the safe range, blood vessels widen, blood pressure drops, and the heart rhythm destabilizes. And in the worst cases, this can lead to fainting or even cardiac arrest. I don't say this to frighten you, but to remind you that even the most natural things must be used with respect and awareness. If you notice 2 or more of these signs, pause all supplements for a week or 2. Just stop for a bit. Drink plenty of water, get enough rest, and eat fresh whole foods. Your body will take care of the rest. One of my patients once told me, "Doctor, after just 10 days of stopping my supplements, I feel like I'm 10 years younger." I smiled and said, "It's not that you've gotten younger, it's that your body can finally breathe again." When you start seeing your body as a friend, not a machine that needs constant refueling, you'll realize it holds more wisdom than you think. It knows when to take in more and when to take a break. All you have to do is listen. In the next part, I'll show you how to use supplements safely, the right doses, timing, and checkups, so you never have to worry about too much or too little. You'll simply live in sync with your body, naturally and sustainably. By now, you've probably realized the real danger isn't taking the wrong dose of vitamins, but taking them without understanding what your body truly needs. I once told a patient, "Your body isn't a storage room for pills. It's a living garden. If you nourish it at the right time, it blooms beautifully. But if you keep feeding it without rest, the roots drown and the flowers die young." When you understand that, you'll see that the goal of supplementation isn't more, it's balance. And this is how I always guide my patients, not through rigid formulas, but through a way of living. If you're taking vitamin K2, rest assured you can use it daily. It's gentle and rarely builds up in the body. But if you're taking magnesium, treat it like a meal, regular and consistent, because your body loses it every day, and without it, you lose your natural rhythm. And as for D3, remember, It's like sunlight. You don't need it shining at full strength every single day. Let your body have its rest days, those quiet moments to reset and restore its natural balance. I often advise my patients to get blood tests every 3 to 4 months, especially if they live in sunny areas or take more than 2,000 IU per day. When your D3 level rises above 50 nanograms per milliliter, that's the time to pause, to let your body breathe and return to safety. And always remember, food remains the foundation of true health. A meal with leafy greens, salmon, cheese, eggs, or fermented beans can sometimes offer more than any supplement ever could. Because food doesn't just contain nutrients, it carries life itself, something no pill can ever replicate. You see, we spend half our lives searching for the right medicine, but it only takes a single moment of stillness to truly listen to our bodies. And that's when we begin to live healthily. If you're hearing my words and something inside you feels awakened, know that it's your body's natural healing instinct returning. No fear is needed, no extreme measures, just small adjustments, gentle awareness, and a slower rhythm of living. A 75-year-old man once told me, after stopping most of his supplements, "Doctor, for the first time in years, I feel truly healthy, not because of pills, but because I finally trust my body again." I smiled, because that's exactly what I've always hoped for in my work. Not to make people live longer, but to help them live with more understanding. Because in the end, health doesn't come from any pill. It comes from the balance between what you take in and what you're willing to let go. If you've been using D3, K2, or magnesium for years, leave a comment below and share how long you've been taking them. And if you've ever experienced one of the 6 signs I mentioned earlier, share your story, because your experience might help someone else avoid the same mistake. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'm Dr. William, and I believe this. Your body always knows how to heal. All it needs is a chance. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring how to live healthy, live consciously, and live meaningfully at every age.